Hey guys, Carl here, Bunny's Garage. Yeah, today I'm gonna get onto this Holly carb and give it a bit of a rebuild. And Crystal's out here to help. So yeah, I'll grab some shit and get into it, eh? See you shortly. Right, let's get into it, eh? Like I said, gonna rebuild this Holly carb. It's been sitting around in the garage for about 2 years. The wife pulled it apart a couple of years ago. We were going to use it on my ute. She wanted to rebuild it. I never got around to buying a kit. Ended up buying a new carb instead because it was there and it was cheap. So yeah, this one's been rolling around in a bag for the last two and a half years. I hope it's all still there. I've gone through, I think most of it's still there. I know that I have robbed a few parts out of it for other carbs, but I think I put what I took back, I think. But anyway, we'll give it a go. It's got one of these kits here, Holly rebuild kit, not bad kits. Got my adapter here from a square bore to spread bore, so it'll bolt onto that Pontiac manifold. Not bad kits. But yeah, these Holly kits come with a whole bunch of, you got your base plates, two of them. You got all these different ones for the different models of carbs, which you don't need. You got that. But I've gone through and worked out what we do need. These are the gaskets we're going to use. But we have all sorts in here. We've got accelerator pump, your power valve, got your float adjusters, you've got bags full of rubber seals, little gaskets, little clips, ball bearings, you name it, it's in here. Our grass little kits. But anyway, let's get into this. Gotta try and remember how they go back together now. Might need some operational glasses. Alright, so I've just gone through and carb cleaned this whole carb, blowing all out all the holes and made sure everything's all clean in there. So we'll get into it and get it back together, I think. Try to. Alright. So first, some gloves on. The reason I'm putting gloves on, not to protect my pretty little hands, it's just I've lost everything. There we go. So I'll put them through, put them together. I'll just use a bit of grease, alright? Some of you may think that's a bit weird. Some of you might actually know why. But the reason I do it, let's go through, just get a little bit of grease. You don't need heaps. Alright, just rub it on, put some on your fingers, and just rub it over the gasket. I don't like using sealer on carbs. You know, one, it'll go through and block up these tiny little holes that you got in there. Two, carbs are horrible things. They always suck up shit through your fuel system. And got to pull the carb apart, clean it out. If you've just put brand new gaskets through it, pull it apart, the gaskets are ruined because they were stuck. You gotta scrape them off. This way, bit of grease, softens up the gasket, keeps it soft, stops it drying out with all the fuel in there, and you can pull your carb apart as many times as you like. So that's just the way I do it. You might do it differently, I don't know. Alright, so carry on rubbing grease into everything. Like I said, you don't need a lot, just a light smear over them all. You don't want too much in there because then you end up with grease all through your little ports and holes and whatnot. It helps them seal too if they're not dry when they go on. Yeah, it helps them seal up. You don't actually need any sealer. Alright, so that's all the gaskets all greased up. Alright, now we've got to figure out how to put this thing back together. First of all, we need a new power valve here. There's a gasket somewhere in here. This one here, though. Typical. Alright, so you got your little gasket for your power valve there. There are two different gaskets, two different power valves, but this kit only comes with one power valve, so they supply the gasket that fits it. So you got if you can see, you got two, like a little slot there and a little slot on the other side. You use the round gasket if you got the two slots. If you got holes, like a series of holes drilled around it, they supply another gasket which has actually got more cutouts in it. It's not just a round one. So yeah, just chuck the new power valve into there. So there. Don't over tighten it and break it, just sort of notch it up onto the gasket. Right, and then this is the gasket for that. Just sits on the top there. Just like that. Which goes like that. Alright, just sits on there. And then we have, which is the front bowl. That one, with all the writing on it. You got the front bowl here, and we have these. Alright, we've got two new ones of these. Same thing, just put just a little, not heaps, just a little smear of grease around that little rubber seal there. Alright. There's your needle valve. Just slide that in. Just start screwing it in. Alright, I always set them up. I think you meant to set them up, but you set them up so that this is actually sitting flat with top of your carb. That's the way it's meant to go. So when it comes up, it closes your valve off. You want it sort of sitting pretty flat, alright? It's a good start anyway. It's about there. Alright. So now you've got the little nuts here that go over the top, like that. There's gaskets for them. Alright, and same thing, just put a little bit of grease over them. Hey, leave that, don't touch. A little bit of grease on there. Just set the gasket on. And you set your nut on. That's how you adjust it. So once it's back in the car, you take the little screw out of here, little brass screw, with your car running, and you should be getting just a little trickle of petrol out of there, just pretty much just a vapor run sort of thing. You don't want heaps coming out of there, and so you just leave the car running and adjust that nut. All right, you undo the screw that goes on the top, the screw here, just undo that screw and then just turn this nut until you're just getting like a little bit of a vapor, a little bit of wetness down there. All right, and then you lock the screw back down again. Oh, better put the gasket on. And another gasket goes on the screw there, just like that. You drop your screw in. Alright, hold that nut. Just lock your screw down. Alright, see, sitting pretty flat. Wherever you're there. Alright, that's what you want. And then this gasket here goes on here. No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. Put it around the right way. It sits on there like that. And then that bowl goes on there, just like that. Alright. Find all the screws for it. That's in there. And let's put a little bit of grease around the threads. Actually the wrong screws. The short ones go in the back. Just remembered. The longer screws go in the front because you've got your metering block in there. Just lube them up so they go in the holes nicely, and they also supply you with new washers for all your screws, alright? Just a little cap, actually like a hard plastic. So you put one on there, one on each of these screws. Just like that. Then you drop them in. Try and do your screws up like fairly evenly. You don't want to, like, you know, twist the bowl get one side nice and tight, and then the other side's, you know, you got to try and pull it down. Just pull it all down evenly. Alright, just like that. Alright, so that's back on. Easy as. Alright, then, what else have we got in here? What are you doing? Hey? Alright, watch out, bud. So, then, what are we up to? Got the accelerator pump. There we go. Little diaphragm here. Same thing. Put a little bit of grease around the edge of that gasket there. Just like that. And then there's a spring there as well. There we are there. Alright, spring goes in first. And then the accelerator pump sits on the top there. Little diaphragm. Alright. And then this one here goes on top of that. See when it's still sitting down. Make the accelerator. Just like that. Find the screws for that. Same thing, I always just go around and do opposites. Back round, the other one. So it brings everything down fairly evenly. Just go around, just lock them up again. There's the accelerator pump. Alright. Carry on. Alright, we've got the other end. It's a bit different, there's no metering block. Alright, so that gasket just goes straight on there, like that. Then we have this stuff here, which has a gasket somewhere. Not that one. Where's the gasket gone for that? Or is it that one? It is that one. Alright. Same thing. A bit of grease on there. Hey, watch out, bud. Alright. Bit of grease on that gasket. That goes onto here. Alright. Yeah. It sits on the top there. Just like that. And we have this plate here, which sits on the top of that. Alright. Let's give it a bit of a smear of grease over the top of that plate. The plate sits on the top here. Oh, actually put it around the right way. Work a lot better. Alright. So it just sits onto there. Like that. And then I have these weird little screws that hold that on, which I don't actually have a bit to do them. What do I? Alright, never mind. So just find a normal flathead screwdriver that fits in there and just use that instead. Alright, screw that down. Same thing, just go around, do it evenly. Alright, it's all tight. Sits on there like that. Alright, and then you got your back float bowl. So it's the same thing as before. You have the valve there. Put a little bit of grease around the top, around that seal. Drive that into there. Same thing, set it up flush with your top of your carb, just like that, right? And you want your little gasket. What's wrong? Yeah, we'll go inside in a minute, eh? Put that on, and then you want your nut. Same thing, put that on. Like that. The other gasket for your screw, the grease. Check that on. Just like that. That's the back one done. And I'm going to disappear for a minute. Someone's starting to get a bit moany. So, go sort her out and I'll be back shortly, eh? Right. Oh, that's hot. Alright, back again. Eh? 2 years old. Doesn't know how to tell the time, but she sure knows when it's past 10 o'clock and she's due for her morning tea. So that's sorted. Get back onto wherever I'm up to on this. Alright. We're just finishing this off, aren't we? Alright. So, then right, we've done that float. This just goes back on there like that, actually. Wake up. We need, wherever it's gone, a little tube there. Runs between the two float bowls. From this front one and into the back one. Need that. There's new O-rings for that there. So we grease them up so they slide in there. Like that. I always set my O-rings right on the edge. Right on the edge like that. So that when you sit it in there, right, you sit that one in, get it started, get your other float bowl, so that one on. Alright, then as you push down, it rolls those O-rings up into the right place. You can give it a bit of a wiggle in there, just make sure everything's seated properly. Yeah, because if you try and put them on when they're pressed up to where they're meant to go, you try and put them on, you got to try and, you know, they got nowhere to roll. So if you put them right on the edge, I find it's easier to get them to go in. Great, you've got the screws for the back float bowl. Already put the little gaskets they supply on there. Just chuck them in. It's sitting in the right place. Same thing, take it down evenly. Alright, that's all back together. So O-rings are sitting in there nicely in the right place. Tube's nice and firm. Alright, and then we got this. Just a little bit of the old gasket on here. Alright, anyway, so what are we up to? Right, your little brass screws for your float bowls. That's how you check, make sure you got your float set right. They supply these new little, like a little steel washer. Get them in there. One. And for the front one, back one. So that. What are we up to, man? Alright, we'll chuck this base plate on. Right, gasket's already oiled up, greased up. You set your base plate gasket on there. They give you a lot to choose from. There's about, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 or 6 different gaskets. So you just pick the one that suits what you're doing best. Make sure all the holes actually line up with everything. Just rub a bit of extra grease on here. Just like that. Alright, and then this, which is the front, which is about just the front of the carb. So we want that there. Alright, this works your accelerator pump. So when you go down like that, right, your pump sits under there. So when you accelerate, it's pushing that arm down. Alright, so that's the front. Gotta get a new one of these because it's actually a hard plastic and the rats have actually been chewing on it. It's just about broken right through, but it will do for now. I'll order a new one of them. So you want to get that under that pump. Just make sure it sits down on there nicely. Alright, you get all your screws. Just whack a bit of grease around the threads so they will go in nice. Alright, there's your base plate back on. There we go, nearly got a complete carb. Alright, there's your accelerator. That works, that front pump works. There is a way to adjust these. You don't want them, see that's actually quite hard on there. You don't want them preloading your accelerator pump. You want a little bit of slack. Alright. I think there's actually a measurement, I think, if I remember rightly, maybe you do it full throttle, hold it full throttle, and you should be able to get a feeler gauge in between there, and you just loosen this nut or tighten it to preload the spring, so you get a bit of clearance in there. And yeah, there should be just a little bit of movement in here before it connects to your pump, your accelerator pump. Alright, you don't want it preloading it. So anyway, that's that done. We have your vacuum screws on the side here. Alright, just in there, in there. Get your little, to adjust your mixtures, they have like a little cork gasket on there, which they supply new ones, if you can get the old one off. that was one hard gasket. Alright, same thing. A bit of grease on there on the threads. A bit of grease on a little cork gasket. They're quite a thick gasket. Alright, they just slide back in there. Push that gasket in. And push it until it stops. Put your little needle back in. Right, screw it all the way in until you just feel it just stop. You don't force it. Screw it in. I always set these to start with. Come out one and a half. Alright, I usually set them up 1.5 turns out, just until you get it running. And then yeah, once it's running, like I said before, check all your floats, make sure they're not too high or too low. And do your mixtures. You can usually wind them while it's running, wind it in, wind the screw in, and wind the screw in, and you'll hear the motor start dying off. When you hear it start dying off, start winding it back out, and you'll hear the motor start evening out again. And that's pretty much where you want it. Once that motor starts evening out, sounding like it runs nice, you can keep going out, and then you'll hear the motor die off again, or start running like shit. So yeah, do that a couple of times, sort of take them right in until it dies out, then take them, you know, out until it starts dying out, and find a happy medium in there. Half, one and a half. Right, so it's them done. What are we up to now? Alright. Now, you got all your choke linkages. This is a vacuum secondary carb. So you've got your vacuum thingamabob here. Alright. Don't actually give you a new name. Alright, never mind. But, put a bit of grease in there. Alright, and there's a little recessed part in there, which a little O-ring goes in. You can stick that O-ring in there. Yep. Right, and then this just goes onto here. Just like that. That little lever sits on there. Like that, and the other screw in the back there. do things up when you got grease all over your glove or hand and just start slipping on the screwdriver. Yeah. Just tighten that up. Like that. Your little clip in here. There's like a little C-clip. They actually give you, I think, somewhere. No, maybe not. Oh, yep, there. Actually give you a new one in the kit. You get a whole bunch of little clips and C-clips and stuff like that, but the old one's here, so I'll just use this. There's nothing wrong with it. The old pliers. Screw that up. Click it on. Done. Alright. So now full throttle it. Like that. That comes up. You get to the right vacuum, opens your secondaries. Alright. See, when you're not on throttle, it can't move. So it's got a slit in this bracket, and the arm comes down, and then it will move. Alright, so that's your secondaries. What else? I'll choke back on. Not that I'll probably ever use it. I'll probably end up taking all this choke stuff off. Because, yeah, I do. Grease. I don't know if there's a... I don't know if that's something or not, so I'll put one of them in there just to seal it up. It's like a hole in there where there's no screw, but it blocks off by this, so I don't actually know if there's vacuum coming through there or not. Where the hell are the screws? Oh, on here. The rest of the choke. Alright. This is a bit... Just put a bit of grease around here. It's a bit rusty from sitting around. Some on the back there. Alright. So this one goes on here. Just got to figure out. So choke closed. So you want this. Right. Do that. Right, that's the choke closed. So that in there. So that sits in there. You get that arm in the right place, otherwise your choke won't work. You want it closed and then drop this in. So that little lever, there's another little lever. Should show you, but yeah, I'll show you shortly. This is mechanical choke here. Alright. See? So you got a little slot that you got to line up in there, so your choke actually, it's without choke, that's your choke on. And make sure it gets in there. Just put a bit of oil just in the back of there, because that runs on there. And it's quite stiff. There you go. That's better. Alright, so where are we up to? Have we got any parts left? That's on, that's on, that's on. Got a little adjuster here so you can speed your idle up when the choke's on. Right, so there's no parts left in there, that's all the old stuff. Oh, that's got to go on. Goes on the side there. It holds your choke cable, but worry about that another day. Because yeah, I'll have to figure out linkages and that for accelerator on that Pontiac. So don't worry about the choke at the moment because I'll be working everything from underneath. Right, now I've got to find one of these. It's a vacuum port. It's not a constant vacuum, it's what do you call it? I don't know. The more you rev it, it starts vacuuming there. So I've got to find one of them. So I've got to find one of them anyway, because I've robbed that out of here to put on another carb. I've got another holly over there, but I've robbed that one out of there too. So I've got to find something to go into there. You can just block it off, depends on if you run a, I usually run my, what do you call it, vacuum advance from your distributor. I usually run it into there because it's not a constant vacuum. Yeah, there we go. One rebuilt 600 vacuum secondary carb, mechanical choke, mechanical. Hey, some words you just can't say some days. All right, so that's that. I need to find the fitting for that, for your fuel input. But yeah, it's pretty much done. It works. Works on the bench. So yeah, now I've got to pull the crappy old quadra jet that I put on there, on that Pontiac. Got to take that off, put this adapter on, and hopefully I've rebuilt that carb good enough that it's going to run, man. Yep. Careful when you're slicing around there, that plastic cover. You don't cut the gaskets that are sitting in there. See, the adapter plate comes with the gaskets. It's for your spread bore, so that will go onto your manifold. Because the spread bore is like a quadra jet carb. So you put that down, and then you've got your other gasket here, which is for a square bore, which is usually holly and things like that. And that's your adapter, just like that. Alright, so you got your, excuse me, you got your spread bore there, and your square bore there. So they will sit like that, which matches up with the bottom of your carb, like that. So that sits on there. Alright, so your gases and that come from a square bore like that, with all the same size, into the quadra jet, which is two small front ones and the back ones are bigger. Alright, so that's where that taper comes. Alright, so you're lining up with your manifold. So that goes on like that with the gasket, and then that gasket, and then the carb sits on top like that. Pretty basic, straightforward, quite cool kits. Quite cheap too. Alright, it comes with all your nuts, bolts, blah blah blah. Alright, you got bolts and you got Allen key ones. Alright, so that bolts down to there with I don't know. That way, like that. Yeah, that's the one. Where's that other gasket? It bolts down like that. Straight around that way. Yep, like that. Easy as. Alright. So you got the holly stuck in there on the outside, like that. And you got the square bore, which is the manifold. There's the inner ones, like that. So yeah, chuck that on, chuck the carb on, hopefully we're all go. Alright, so I think I'll call that a video. Done that, I'll do another video getting that thing going. Or should I do it on this one? No, because I've still got to drain that tank, set up a fuel system, blah blah blah. No, we'll call this a video, eh? I think so. So yeah, that's it, done. Take your time. Alright, so yeah, I think we'll call that a video. It's all done now, all back together. Alright, you want one of these holly kits? There's a number on it somewhere. No, there's not. Yes, there is. There we go. I'll put my glasses on read today because I don't even know where I'm pointing. Alright, there. 37119. Carb repair kit. Alright. Here we go. Cool kits. If you're from New Zealand, I got this from what's it called? STA parts. I don't even know how to say it. Sidgerden truck accessories or something like that. STA, they're bloody good. Ring up, order it, it's here the next morning. They are excellent. Pretty good prices too, about $100 for that kit. It's 40 something for the adapter. So yeah, not bad. And it's here next day. Can't get better than that, eh? So anyway, yeah, I'll do another video, I don't know, next week sometime, and probably chuck that carb on and get that Pontiac up and running. Alright, so if you haven't already subscribed, please do. Be awesome. Like, comment. You might you might actually know how to rebuild carbs properly and tell me where I screwed up. Anyway, these aren't really how-to videos, these are how I do it. You know, I'm not a professional in anything. So yeah, take what I do very slightly, you know, make up your own mind. It's the basics anyway. You know, there's a few things that I missed in there that I should have done. Like you can replace all these, come with these little weird things here, right? So you can actually bush out in here, and those rods there. If you've got movement in that, you can bush them out with them. There's a whole lot of other stuff in those kits that you can do a full rebuild. I just want to get the bloody thing going, right? And that's good enough, doing the basics. So yeah, anyway, and if you don't know how to build carbs, rebuild carbs, then there's a pretty basic dumbass way to do it. And yeah, I hope these videos actually inspire someone just to get out there and do it. Anyway, they're not that confusing. There's lots of little bits in that. Get yourself a little pass tray, a few tools, kit, get out there and do it. Alright, a lot cheaper than getting a mechanic to do it. Mechanic. Anyway, alright, until next time, make sure you hit like, subscribe, comment. It'll be awesome. Till next time, look after yourselves, eh? Have a good one. Shoot.